day, fret friends. New project for a new client. Epiphone Les Paul Standard. Nice weighty guitar, very well made. EE serial number 06, that's a 2006 model, made in China, so one of the earlier China ones. Grover tuners. I'd imagine it's got a Hot 57 and a whatever other pickup they put in these things. Tunematic bridge as normal, 2 volume, 2 tone. So what's up with this? Well, look at the strings. String here is caught under fret 13 and fret 12. The fret 13 and fret 12 are both popping out, and I don't think it's possible to glue them in because they're both popping out. So I'm going to replace these 2 frets. He didn't say he wanted anything else doing, but I imagine he's going to want a setup. I'm going to contact him shortly anyway. There are some high frets on this. I don't know how many exactly yet. I've been across with Fret Rocker, but there's quite a lot of relief in that neck, so I'll get a better idea once I have taken the strings off. But just listen out, listen. There's one, and there's one up this end somewhere. Got quite a big. There you go, there you go. No, it's not that one. Definitely one up here as well. So we've got a couple of high frets. Can't find this one up here. There you go, fret 11. Listen to this. Listen to this. That's a good half mil high. So frets 12 and 13 need replacing. We've got 2 very high frets. There's probably going to be a couple more. This is probably going to want a fret level, but I don't know for sure until I've got the strings off. Those 2 definitely need replacing. And so look at the setup. I did say to him there's too much relief in that neck. There's far too much relief in that neck. Action wise, action's a little bit high. One of the pickups is a little bit low. I've not had it plugged in or anything. I'm going to have it plugged in a minute, have a listen to it, see what I reckon. But I just wanted to show the guitar. Decent looking thing, decent weight. Sure it'll be okay. But let me check the setup, get it plugged in, see if the electrics are alright. If they are, we're going to get the strings off and we're going to have a closer look at those frets. I've had the guitar plugged in and quite surprised. I mean, amazing, it sounds fantastic. I do believe it will have a Hot CH pickup and a 57 type pickup in there. Can't remember the exact labels on them, but something along those lines. But I've had it plugged in. Sounds fantastic. I would have liked some heavier strings on there. I'm sure it's a 942 set on there. I'd like to see some 1046s on there. But we're just going to go over and have a quick scoot over the frets. So I'm just going to have a look to see how straight the neck is or isn't. It's not bad. We have a tiny bit of relief in there. So I'm just going to move the camera. I think that's pretty good there. Fret wire, by the way, it's about 2.75 millimeters or in inches, 0.109, if that rings a bell with anyone. So I do have some 2.8 mil fret wire. I'm going to have to use that. 2.7 will be too thin. I've got some 2.8, I think. I'm going to have a little look in a minute in these packets I've just put on the bench. Right, that doesn't look too bad. I'm just going to remove this truss rod cover. I do believe it's a 4mm truss rod hex adjuster in these. Pretty standard. Looks to be right. So what could be 5? Let's take a 4. I use and always have used, if I can get hold of them, like a T-bar type of affair. I just need to give this a tiny twist, just to slightly tighten, just to see where we are. Tiny bit of back going there now, so if we just slacken off a little, again, just have another look. We're pretty good there, somewhere in between those 2, so about there. That feels nice. That felt nice as I turned it. I think we are gapless and straight there. So I'm liking that. So I'm just going to scoot over with the fret locker before I ring the client and let him know what I think. We're definitely going to replace these 2 frets. I'm going to see if I can. Let me have a feeler gauge. Let me just grab a feeler gauge and see how much we can get under those frets. Let's also just zoom in a little so you can see a little bit more. Right, here we go. So, frets 12 and 13. I'm going to get a 0.2 millimeter feeler gauge, 0.2 millimeters, and let's see where we are. Fret 12, that certainly goes under the fret. So 0.2 millimeters goes under the fret. Wow, that's remarkable. And this one, 0.2 doesn't go under, is it this fret? Ah, it's the 12th and 13th, that's why. And 0.2 millimeters certainly goes under there, look. 0.2 mil. So those two frets are going to come out and be replaced. This is just under 1 mil on those, so I'm hoping I've got some 2.8. I normally have some 2.8 by 1.1, 1.2. This is all my, this is all my good stuff. This is the 25% nickel silver. That'll be too hard. Let's have a look at this one. This looks pretty much the same. That must be pretty much the same. Sure, I'll have some somewhere. I've got some 3 mil in there. I have little bits of fret wire knocking about everywhere. This is, oh, that's 3 mil. Wow, that is well fat. That ain't going to work. I think this here is 2.8. I think this is brand new stuff. I do have some stainless in here, I think. That's some stainless steel fret wire. 2.8, so that's no good. Let's go and look at the drawer again. I don't know what I'm using the stainless for, but I know I've saved it for one of my guitars. I may have to just measure that piece there because there's enough for 2 frets there. Don't have anything in here. This is Syntom's Elite, so it's 25% nickel silver. It's much harder than what's in there. This one is that 2 mil? 2 mil, Syntom's 2 mil. Oh, I don't know, I had that. Okay, Syntom's 2.3, Syntom's 2.49. For argument's sake, 2.5, that's 2.3. This could be, I don't know what this is. That's a little bit too thin. Bear with me a second, guys. 2.3, I've got 2.7, I've got some 2.9, some 2.7. I've got a piece here just fell out. That will be just cast stainless steel. That's no good either. So this is all the fret wire I have in the building. 1 second. This is about a little interruption. I had a client, I knew it was coming, I had a client turn up to pick up 2 guitars and he was supposed to be coming at 7 PM. It was about 6:20, but anyway, never mind. So I totally forgot what I was talking about, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to interject and bring in, I'm going to measure the frets as we are. 2.71 that says, you're always going to get a different reading. 2.72, 2.73, 2.74, 2.74. Now I've got some fret wire here and I'm going to see which is closest, because this will be 12% nickel silver. That's 2.8, 2.79, that's 2.6, 2.61. So it looks like we've looked out on the 2.8. That's 2.7. This is the closest one. 2.72. It is the same thickness. I do think. No, is it stainless? No, but it certainly is 18% nickel silver. I'm going to have to use this because it's the closest one to what we've got in here. If it's 18% nickel silver, it's tough. I think this is 2.7. 2.7, and this will come out of the packet, so it should be 2.7, and that's 2.7. So the one we're going to use is this one. I don't think it's probably 18% nickel silver, so it's certainly a bit harder than what's in there. That will be 12%, but it's all I've got, it's all I can do. So this one, let's measure this. This is thicker, I can tell it's thicker, a bit harder as well. Oh, there again, 2.68. It's about the same, so this is about the same. So either of these two I can use. That one feels tougher. That's probably a different wire. So I'm going to use, I can use either of these. So I'm going to use, I've got some fret wire anyway. So what we're going to do is, we'll remove those two, not right now, because we are going to check the level of the red. That's what I was going to do. So at least we're back where we were. I was going to check the fret level, wasn't I? Now this is not a precision, well, it is a precision one, but it's not going to be the definitive one, because for the client what I normally do is get the camera close to the guitar, so we're looking at the fretboard side on, and I'll go across the fret rocker where it's close so you can hear everything. But that's it, we did get the fretboard level, or the neck level, so I'm just going to do exactly the same again. And because we're now losing the lights, I'm just going to scoot over with the fret rocker. Right, that is level, that's great. I'm going to scoot over with the fret rocker right now, just to see what state we're in, and then I'm going to come again and film it from a proper angle with the camera facing this way, and we're going to go across the lot. But let's just scoot across and see where we are. So there's a high one, fret 3, so I've got 1, 2, and tomorrow I can ring the client and let him know. 3 high frets, 4, wow, 5, just going to need a fret level, 5, 5, still, keep it down to 5, which I believe we can. Okay, that's not so bad. We're saying 5 high frets. That has just saved him 40 quid, because if there's any more than 5 I'd have had to do the whole lot, and that would be an £115 fret level. Because it's only 5, I can get this in under a intensive setup for £75. But I'm also replacing 2 frets. The 2 I'm going to replace, I'm going to have to charge him 30 quid for the pair, because there's an hour in that. So I'm going to do him, I'm going to do the lot for £100. I'm going to tell him that. Instead of 105 I'll do it for £100, plus the price of the strings if he wants new strings on there, which I'm sure he does, because I've just cut his off. So I'm going to let him know, £105 all done, which is a great price considering he's going to have a complete setup, 2 frets replaced, 5 frets levelled, and a new set of strings. Can't say further than that. That is going to be my recommendation. So I'm going to text him now, see what he says, and that's me finished for tonight. It is 6:34 PM or 1800 hours 34 minutes. Time for me to knock off, and I'll be back tomorrow. So guys, we have moved over to my winter setup, being this bench in a different area of the workshop. The reason being, I have an LED spotlight up there, and I'm able to see what I'm doing more. So, without hesitating or faffing about with this guitar, we are going to crack on and get things moving. So we're going to remove these frets that are the problem. Look how easy these have come out, look. Not even used a chip stopper, and that has just come straight out. 12 and 13 are the ones I'm going to replace. These are my fret pullers, ground flat at the end there. I bought these, I believe, I think I bought these from GMI about 5-6 years ago. And we just basically get under, and there you go, look how easy these have come out. So that's 2 frets out. I'm going to measure them now they're out. I need to grab a quick saw just to clean those slots up. So you're going to learn really, really quickly how we replace frets. What have I done with that piece of kit? Here it is. And I am not going to faff about, because I've done the guy a special deal on this. I've knocked him a few quid off. So I will not be faffing about. So Costco. Fret slot file, not file saw. We're just going to go inside, just make sure the fret slot's clear, and it is. Same again with this one. Plenty of space down there. So we're going to be gluing the 2 new frets in. Well, I'm going to have to. So the fret wire I'm going to use, I picked a piece I'm going to use. Bear with me a second. I just need to grab my electric caliper just to measure these frets that have come out. With these, I tend to take the battery out every time I'm not using it, otherwise the batteries just wear really, or run out really quickly. So I always take them out and put them in again, and your battery lasts a long, long time doing it that way. So, just make sure to zero it out. It is now. Just going to measure the old fret. And that is saying 2.74 millimeters, 2.72 millimeters, 2.70. So we're going to say it's about 2.70. 2.70. So let's get to the fret wire I'm going to use. Give us a measure. It's 2.72. So that is the fret wire I'm going to use. So we need to do a couple of things. One, we need to radius it. Like I say, I'm not going to faff about. Let me just take the battery out of here. You're going to see it all happening live. And I'm going to do it all right in front of you. Get that out of the way, that out of the way, 2 old frets out of the way. So we need to bend this to fit the radius, and that is a 12-inch radius. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to slightly overbend it. Here you go, here's my fret bending tool, and I'm going to set it pretty much flat. I don't want to get these, there you go, it's hardly doing anything, look, hardly doing anything. So I'm going to adjust slightly. And we're just going to keep going with this until I get where I want to be. So how it works, you just feed it through, you just wind it round, and this will bend the fret wire, and I go both ways. So I've been one side, I'm going to go that side as well, and we're going to try and get a radius that matches. Still nowhere near, so again we're going to a little bit more, and I'm just going to keep going till I get to where I want to be. I want to get very, very close to correct radius, and there you go. There you go. I think we're getting there with that. I think we're getting very close to where we want to be, and it is a trial and error type affair. And let's just have a look. And I think we could still go a little bit more. Now this time, because I don't want to go a tiny bit, I'm just going to go just a tiny turn, because a little turn will make a lot of difference when it comes to bending fret wire. And I don't have a lot of margin for error. I've got to get it pretty much bang on. Bought this piece of kit, I think I got it from Canada, again quite a few years ago. I think it cost me about 60, 70 pounds, I'm not sure. But there you go, let's have a look. And I think we've just about got the radius here. We're slightly over, which is fantastic. So, I'm not going to measure anything. I'm just going to get straight in. I'm going to have a look. I'm going to come a little bit inside. I'm going to make it wider than I need to. I'm going to snip this end off because that wouldn't have bent as much as the rest of it. So I'll just get rid of that. And then I'm going to overlap like so. Measure twice, cut once. Like so. And we're just going to check. And that's beautiful. So now what we need to do, because we're putting the frets inside the binding, we need to snip the tang off. and this is the tang here and here. So we're going to go at this, and I'm going to remove some of the tang. I have a Tang Nipper, great piece of kit from St Tom's, cost me about 95, 96 quid. This is a really good heavy duty one. It will cut stainless steel if I need it to. And I'm just going to start removing the tang till I'm close to where I want to be. And again, I'm not going to mess about. I'm going to get straight in there. Need to just slightly adjust my tool. I've not used this for a while. Not done a refret for a bit. I need to go in there, and we're just going to start removing the tang. And there you go, you see there, removing the tang, see it next to my hand. I see where I want to be, need to remove a lot more yet. I've taken a lot more fret wire than I need, and I'm going to go to the other side. I'm going to do the same again. The reason it's not going right into the Tang Nipper properly is because it bends when you cut it, so I'm just going to nip that back. There you go, and that should work now. There you go, just need to adjust the nipper. I've not got it set right, I think that should be good now. There you go. And there you go, we're just going to check. Okay, just a little bit more. Like I say, I'm not going to faff about. And there you go, and I've removed enough of the tang so the fret is going to fit the slot. And there you go. And once I get it fit in the slot like so, I'm going to press this in. In fact, I'm going to hammer this in. But what we're going to do is, we're just going to nip the end like so. This is going to be a precision cut fret, and that's going to probably overhang a little bit more than the original ones, because the original ones don't quite go over enough. I'm just going to nip it in a little bit. And again this side, doing it all by eye, because it's going to be a precision made fret. And there you go, and it is going to be a little bit wider than these because these tend to come just a little bit inside the binding. Can't help that, just how it is, but that is going to be a beautiful fit. So that's one done. I'm going to cut the other one off camera. Once they're done, I'm going to take them out, I'm going to shape them by hand. I will show you exactly what I'm going to do. The main thing on this is getting the tang itself to fit just inside the binding as that does. That's going to be perfect. I'm going to super glue these two in, and that'll tap in beautifully. That's one done. So I'm going to get the other one done off camera. Once it's done, I'm going to bring you back. We're going to shape the edges of these just to match the ones already in there. It is a precision job. I should have been charging quite a bit more, but I want to do the guy a favour. It's a new client, and I want to make this video really interesting also. So, you know, but yeah, a new type of job. I don't often do this kind of job. It's very rare just replacing 2 or 3 frets, but you know, it's all good fun. So stay tuned, and I'll be back very soon. Off camera, I have precision filed the frets to match the frets that are here. I don't know how much you can see, but if you look at the frets, they're just slightly inside the binding, and I want to do pretty much the same with these. So it's a matter of taking a file and filing the ends and being very, very careful to get them nice and even. Not an easy job because it's not something you normally do. What you normally do is you'd overhang the frets, then you just file all of them down one side and bring it right up to the edge, but these are actually just a little bit inside, so you've got to be a little bit careful. Now, these also, these may spread out a little when I press them in, but you know, end of the day, I'm doing the best. I'm going to do the best that I can. So I think they're pretty much bang on to where I want them to be. I may get away without gluing those in, but I'm thinking why chance it? I would love to get these pressed in, but not going to get this part of the neck under my fret presser, so I'm going to have to hammer these in. So what I'm thinking is get a block under the heel of the neck here, and then I'm just going to gently tap these in with a fretting hammer, which I have over here. And I'm always reluctant to use super glue on frets because it's messy, and clean up afterwards is a little bit difficult. So I might just tap these in and see how we go. Thing is, these new frets were a lot higher than the old ones, so I'm going to have to file these down as well. Still a bit of work to go, but I think that's a way forward. I'm not going to super glue them in. What I may do is I'm going to hammer them in, I'm going to tap them in, and I'm going to check that the edges are in there. And then what I may do is drop a bead of super glue in the fret, and it should draw itself in. So leave that with me, and I'll come back and let you know how I get on. Well, I've just hammered that fret in and it went in really, really well, so I'm going to show you exactly what I did, and it's just a matter of lining it up and tapping down. And because we've got such close radius anyway, I'm thinking those two frets are going to be absolutely fine as they are. Not glued them in, just tap them down. And I don't think they need gluing in. They are absolutely fine. Again, that is not quite down to the edge. I'm going to glue them. They look great. I'm really, really pleased. So the frets are in. I'm going to level them next. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to prep the board. I'm going to remove a nut. I'm going to get the board all prepped, and we're going to look at leveling the frets. I may drop a bead of super glue still under these two and clamp them down. See how we go. Well, let's sit overnight and see how we go. I totally changed my mind about gluing them in. I ran a bead of super glue along each side of each fret, the really, really runny stuff. Let that seep all the way in. I got a 12-inch radius beam, clamped it straight over the top, and we're going to press those frets in. We're going to let that sit overnight. The frets are in, they will not move, they will not pop up. They weren't popping up anyway, I just wanted them to get a good, I wanted them in there solid, so they will be in there solid. I'm going to leave this overnight now. Not going to do anything else on it tonight, and I'm going to come back in the morning and have a look at the frets. I'm sure those frets are going to be in there absolutely solid. We're not going to have any problems with any strings getting caught under there, and that's as much as I can do. So I'm going to drop off this one and do something else. So we are next day. I've not long finished work, and I'm just going to remove the clamp for the first time. Clamps always supported underneath so we don't mark the guitar. Blah blah blah, blah blah blah. And there you go. And the two we put in are there and there. We do have some residue super glue to remove, but that's not a problem. But these frets aren't lifting. I just want to tap them. You can normally tell by tapping them how secure they are. And those two are definitely secure. So, no problem there. Just scraping off any excess glue or any build-up of glue. We'll scrape proper later with a Stanley blade. We're going to be scraping between the frets anyway. But there you go. That's two frets glued in. Sorry, that one, it's not on this one, isn't it? It's hard to tell which of the ones I've changed. Yeah, that one and that one, I think. No, that one and that one. 12 and 13, you can tell because of the height. They're a lot higher than the old ones, so we should be able to tell by much higher. So we've got to level these two. We're probably going to level this whole area, and I'll end up polishing the lot again. Won't be a problem. So really pleased with how they've got in. A little bit of scraping to do. Scrambling now while I'm here. That is pretty good. Yeah, very good indeed. Pleased how they've come out. Needs to do a little bit of shaping, obviously level, recrown. Once they're all done, you will hardly be able to tell which are the new ones. I mean, I can tell because I know which ones they are. This one and this one. And we're a lot shinier than the older ones, but made quite a good job of them, I'll be honest. Very good. Okay guys, so we're going to get a little bit brutal with these frets. What I'm going to do first is, before I get to this piece of goodness, we're just going to check all of the frets along the whole length of the neck, because we are going to level the lot anyway. Probably going to have to remove this knot in a second. I'll do it on camera. That neck is dead straight. I do remember altering the truss rod before and getting it dead straight. So we're going to remove the knot. So there's no faffing about removing these things. You want to make sure you've got a good Stanley knife and you cut through any lacquer at the base of the nut. Because when you remove it, because you've got to knock this off, and when you remove it, you don't have to be taking a big chunk of wood out of the back or out of the headstock like I have done before. I've done that before, it cost me 180 quid to get it repaired. Because obviously I don't do paint here. So, how are we going to get that off here? Well, we've just scored along that edge. I'm going to take my fretting hammer and this not straight edge, and we're just going to gently tap. Like so. The nut is off clean. Clean as a whistle, look at that. Nothing on the base. And that's job done. They don't all come off that easily, so don't expect them to. Take your time and just gentle taps. Anyway, we've got the neck dead straight, so we're going to just go across, we're going to check all of the frets. I'm going to permanent marker frets 12 and 13 because they're the new ones, and I know they're going to both need levelling all the way across. But we're just going to check the rest of the frets. Okay, as explained before, I mark these down as 3 areas. Centre is 2, furthest away is 1, closest to me is 3. So 1, 2, 3. So areas 1 and 2 on that one are high. And that just helps me if I ever write it all down. That one is all the way across. I'm using permanent marker because I can't rub my hand across it and it's going to disappear like it does with a whiteboard marker. And that way I have to remove all of the pen. So there you go, there's 3 already, look. I'm undercharging for this one again, but question of a price. And doing this shows me where I need to remove more material. People say, why if the ones around it are low? That's actually a low fret, not a high fret. Very rare you get a low fret. but regardless, you mark them and file them, and we file the whole lot. These are just areas that need to be done a little bit more severely than the rest of the board. Once we've got these level with the frets around them, I'm going to scoot across the whole lot and level all of them. I already know that these new ones are going to be high. So frets aren't that bad. My main levelling beam has gone away to be reground. One of the surfaces wasn't quite right. I'd not used that surface for about a year because I knew it wasn't quite right. One surface has always been spot on, but that's gone away to be reground. But I do have a brand new one from GMI in Greece, my tool manufacturer. I got all my tools from there. So here we go. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 extra frets. So I've marked all of those with permanent marker. I'm going to keep that there. The ones around it I'm going to mark with a beautiful bright pink non-permanent marker, because I don't want to be removing too much material from these, so just going to go around. And obviously we're going to scoot into that pink, but I just want to give you an idea of where we are. I'm not going to mask anything up at the moment. This is all about spot levelling those areas that are highest. Now you notice on frets 12 and 13 I've scooted across the whole lot with permanent marker. That's because we will be scooting across the whole lot with this little beast. What a fabulous file. This is a diamond file. It is precision straight. It's made by Chris Allsop. You get them on eBay. I think that cost me £27 delivered. Just what a fantastic price. But the great thing about this being perfectly flat and a diamond file is it lasts for ages and it really removes material. So I'm going to go across the area mostly affected. That is the new frets. And we're just going to bring the level of these new frets down to the level of the frets already on the guitar. And it won't take too long. Good thing about it is we're going to be following the radius. When we stop getting resistance, we know the frets are just about level, because once you're not getting resistance, it means you're floating freely across the frets. And now I'm scooting across the one further along that needs work, and we're just going to do this along the whole length of the neck now, just to level all of the frets. And we should be just about there. This file moves a lot of material in a short space of time. The one that was all the way across, got pen all the way across, and had more material move than others. But these look to be pretty good. So we're going to go across again with the fret rocker, especially on the ones we've just added, to make sure they're level. And how wonderful is that? The new ones are level with the old. That's brilliant news. So the frets seem to be level on the whole length of the neck. We're just going to check. But what we're going to do is we are going to take the board up in a second, and I'm going to go across it with a levelling beam, and I'm going to level the lot. So we're going to permanent marker all of the frets. Just checking the level for now. Really, really pleased with that. That file I've just used, Chris Allsop one, is a really good piece of kit. And the frets are level along the whole length of the neck. And that is beautiful. So we have levelled the frets already. That is a brutal file. Really pleased about that. The good thing is as well, the 2 new frets that have gone in were much higher than the old ones. So that is really good to know. So we're just going to tape up some areas of the guitar. Not everything. Just to protect the pickups and all surrounding areas. So let's have a look here. Like a tear in there just for that. There you go. A bit more over here. I can just use a bit of there. I think I can use that there. The reason we're taping up all this area is we're going to be working on these files, these frets with other files anyway. So just protect the area where we're going to be working. We also need to protect the pickup, so we're going to go just there and we're going to go down by the side there. That's beautiful, and that's fine. That's as much of the area we need to cover on the guitar. Just for argument's sake, let's cover the other pickup. We don't want to get any filings in or around there. In fact, I could have done that a little bit better. Should make that a little bit wider, but that's okay. Just go there like so. Tape up the whole area. Then we're not going to get anything into places where we don't want it to go. So that's that. That's fine. We just check again that the neck is level. Not a straight edge. Yep, that neck is straight. That's brilliant. Doesn't matter which pen we go with. You'll notice that we are flattening all of the frets. That means we're going to have to recrown them all, which we're going to do later. We're going to recrown them all. I'll explain what that is in a minute. Just get these penned up. I like doing this. I like doing a long run on the video. You know, where I'm just working through. I don't have to stop anything because I don't edit these videos. I just shoot them, glue them together and release them. If there's any mistakes in there, the mistakes stay in. If I repeat myself, the repeats stay in. I don't have time to edit them as well. So right, let's have a look, see where we are. I'll explain about crowning in a minute, I've not forgotten. Right, so from GMI Tools in Greece, a guy called Harris. I've seen him make these tools. I've seen how he sets up his machine, and they are precision flat. And quick explanation: we have some 240 grit on that side, 320 grit on that side, and we're going to use the 240 grit, and we're going to follow a radius. So we're not going to stick to the line of the guitar. We're going to actually follow a radius. So when we're on the outside here, we're going to go to the outside there. We're just going to try and keep the sanding beam straight all the time. And we're just going to remove. Well, we're going to go on down. We're just going to try and remove all of the pen, because if all the pen goes, we know we've got the frets level. A little bit of pen here, so we've got a high fret somewhere on this side, so we're going to keep going. Try to follow a radius. And that's all of the pen removed. Get a cloth I've used before. So the frets should now be level along the whole length. We'll do exactly the same again, but we're going to use the finer paper in a second going this way. That one's had a lot of material off, so it was a high fret. But this way we get all of the frets level. We're going to recrown the lot. Basically, recrowning is where we've flattened the frets. With our flat going this way, we're going to build that crown back up. We're going to recrown them going that way. So we're a nice rounded semicircular fret. And we're going to have an area on the top of the fret that is about, probably around about half a millimetre, 0.4 of a millimetre. It's where the string meets the fret. We don't want it too sharp, but we do want a smaller area because that way there's not going to be any buzz at all. If we have a flat fret, there's going to be buzz. So we're going to, where they're flat, we're going to re-arc them or recrown them. Anyway, turning the levelling beam over to the 320 grit side a little bit smoother. This will help remove some of the scratches. And it'll show us if we've got the neck dead straight. And we have, because all of those frets are silver topped, all of the pen is gone. So the frets are level across the whole length of the neck. Now when it gets to the crowning, I'm going to have to tape up the whole fingerboard and just leave the frets exposed, nothing else. I'm going to do that in a moment. Just doing one final check over the frets just to make sure they are level. It's a beautiful guitar this. I was really surprised by the pickups. I've had a few Epiphones with these same sort of pickups in and they've been, well, they're okay, they're not bad, they're not good. Oh, they're not brilliant, they're pretty okay, but these, you know, really surprised me. Really nice pickups. But anyway, these frets are all level. The new ones are bedded in really well. The only thing I really need to do with these is I need to bevel them because the edges aren't beveled properly because obviously the new frets gone in. What I've tried to do with the frets is match them to the old frets where they're just inside the binding. But obviously I've not worked on this beveled edge, so that's something I'll be doing once I've got them recrowned. It'll be much easier to do once they're recrowned, and I'll show you exactly what I mean because I'm going to do it on camera. I'm going to try and bring the camera close in. I have a brand new fret dressing file, fret end dressing file from Stumac, which I'm going to use to do the bevels. But there you go, that's all the frets level. We are now going to get the neck ready for us to recrown these frets. So I'm going to give the fingerboard a bit of a wipe. I may even give it a bit of clean. In fact, I'm going to give it a clean. And to clean and prepare the wood, we like to use, or I like to use, naphtha. Now over in England we don't get naphtha, but what we do get is zipper lighter fluid. Zipper lighter fluid is basically naphtha. This is your gear. So we're going to treat the wood. It'll dry the wood as well. I'll just put some on the headstock, it's not going to harm anything. It'll just evaporate. But there you go. Naphtha. And this will clean, remove any grease that's on there. It'll take the tape a lot better. So that is the neck prepared, or the fingerboard repaired. And I'm going to tape it all up using 3 different widths of masking tape. All the things I'll be doing, I'll be tightening these, making sure everything's tight on the tuners, machine heads. There you go, you'll see now the wood has started to dry and it's dried up. And it will do that, it's meant to do that. And that's great because we're going to nourish that and treat that later. So I'm going to tape all that up. I'm not going to video all that. You can see all that. Got 3 different widths of tape, 25mm, 19mm, 6mm. And we're going to tape up so just the frets are exposed. I'll put a line of tape down the side so when we come to remove it we can get it all off in one strip. And we're just going to leave the frets exposed. Once that's done, I'm going to come back, bring the camera in closer, I'm going to show you how we recrown the frets. Okay, recrowning frets. I've already explained that the frets going this way have now been slightly flattened. You know, so it's sort of a bit of an arc, but we need to rebuild that crown. We just need to leave a thin black line going across the top, and that's where the string meets the fret. So I'm going to use, this is a non-permanent marker, it's a whiteboard marker, and I'm going to show you how we recrown the frets. It's really, really easy. It's certainly easier than it was in the olden days. In older days, I used to use a three-cornered file with ground safe or ground flat edges, but nowadays we've got a Stumac Z file. £125 these, worth every penny. And we always clean the file. I'm going to show you how this works. So this side, closest to you, you've got a long cut. Furthest away, you've got a short cut. Turn it 180 degrees, it's the complete opposite. Closest to you, a short cut. Furthest away, a long cut. And this file, it's a diamond file, as you can see. I think it's about 300 grit. Don't quote me on that. Could be 300, could be 150. But this file will not touch the top of the fret, but it will cut the sides. And so you can cut sharper on one side, shallower on another. Then you flip it over, it'll do the complete opposite. So I'm going to show you how it works, but this will not touch the top of the fret. So let's just go 3 or 4 strokes. That's that one. And turn it the opposite way around, 180 degrees. And there you go. We now have a thin black line across the top of the fret. Let's grab a cloth to clean it here. If it seems that it's a little bit thicker on one side, go again. You want a nice even line. So we'll just go again. And that's looking a lot better. And the good thing is, because it's not touching the top of the fret, we know we're not losing any height. Now once we've gone across with a Z file, we'll come across with a profiling file. So again, this is a two-way cutting file. This cuts two ways, it's a diamond file. This cuts two ways because it's a flat file. And we're just going to go over. This is going to profile, remove any burrs and any unevenness. And it'll just help round off those edges that may be a little bit flat because of this. So there you go, that's that one done. Just to check that we've not lost any height. We'll check with a fret rocker and we're absolutely fine. And again, we're going to clean the file, and we're going to move on to the next one. Really, really easy. Won't take me long to do these. Beautiful. And again, just checking. Clean the file. So you can see, it's not a difficult job at all. And that, as quick as you like, that's 3 done. And again, just check the height. Perfect. Check back one. We know we've maintained the height because we've still got the black pen on the top of the fret. That's how you recrown the frets. I'm going to crack on, get the rest of them done. Once that's done, I'm going to bring you back in and we're going to move on to the polishing stage. Hey guys, so it's very early in the morning. I was up at 6 in the workshop and I am polishing frets right now. And I've already been through, this is the 4th grit. I've been through with 400, 600, 800. This is 1000 grit. And I'm going to show you how I polish frets. And I think we're on this one here, and it's just a matter of going over the top, like so, going on the far side, right into the bottom corner, and then getting on the near side. Get to the corner, then back again over the top. And I'm just at the point where I need to turn the paper around, so I'm going to turn it around, I'm going to show you again. So, here we go, over the top, come this side, closest to the camera, roll over, go the furthest side away from the camera, and again over the top. And what we're doing by polishing is we're removing the scratches. That's why we go with a finer grit each time. By the time we get to a 2000 grit, all the scratches will be removed and these frets will be really, really shiny. So I'm going to crack on getting this done. It does take a while. I've got 22 frets, I believe, times 7 to polish, which I believe is 154, is that right? Then I've got to do it again with steel wool. So you've got 154, 176 polishes altogether. So I'm going to crack on, get that done. Once it's done, we'll peel all this back and we'll treat the fingerboard and we can start getting this guitar back together. Just finishing off the frets with the finest grade steel wool. This is extra fine or super fine. The grade number is 0000, and I've actually already finished, but I'll show you how we go on. When I'm finishing with the steel wool, I go up the side of the bevels, polish those, and once that's done, we come in over the frets, and it's just a matter of getting over the top of a fret, pinching the steel wool, getting right over there, then coming far side, getting into the corner, coming near side, getting into the corner, then again over the top. So these frets have all been polished with 7 grits of sandpaper, 400 grit through 2000 grit. We go with a finer grit each time to remove more of the scratches and bring to more of a shine, and we'll finish off with the finest grade steel wool, and these frets look amazing. All I need to do now is I'm going to remove the tape. I'm going to treat the fingerboard with some mineral oil. You know it is lemon oil, specially formulated for the darker fingerboards. We're talking ebony, pale ferro, rosewood, etc. That will sink into the wood, it will float the grime off the top, we'll scrape that off, we'll give another coating of oil, let that soak and nourish the wood. It's something we should do at least once a year. Stop it splitting, drying and cracking. And once that's done, we're going to glue the nut back in, and get the strings back on and get the guitar set up. I will come back and show you in a short while, once I move the camera, and once we're working back with daylight, I'll show you the state of the frets and state of the neck before we put the strings and the nut back on it. So stay tuned and come back for that. So I've just given a quick squirt of lemon oil, or you know it's lemon oil, it's actually mineral oil. Already explained it's specially formulated for guitar fingerboards with darker woods. This one's rosewood. I think rosewood, pale ferro, ebony, the darker woods. And we're just going to rub it in and let this do its magic. And we'll give it, once this has been soaked in 5-10 minutes, or 10-15 minutes, we're going to go and we're going to scrape the fingerboard with a Stanley blade. Remove any crud, dead skin and sweat and what have you, and we'll give another coat and let that soak in and nourish the wood. But yeah, there you go, that's all done. And once that's done, we've wiped off all the excess, we can replace the nut, we'll put the nut back on, we'll get the guitar all set up. So you see, just for this I've left the tape on so we don't get the oil on the surface of the guitar. I had the headstock covered so we don't get the oil on there. Even though we could, it wouldn't harm anything. It'd clean it more than anything. We're also going to give this guitar a good deep clean because there's a lot of crud and scum and sweat all over the fingerboard. Not the fingerboard, sorry, the body. If I give you a little wipe with oil there, look at the difference here. This guitar will look new when it is finished. So we're going to give that a good clean. We'll remove the bridge, tailpiece, give it all a good clean. And we'll have this one done in about an hour. I have moved on a little bit with the guitar. I'll tell you for why. I've been watching, or half watching, the football from yesterday. I've been watching Leeds United versus Man City, me being a Leeds United supporter. So I've had this on the other bench and doing the setup whilst watching the football. Do it half and half, if you know what I mean. So what have I done on the other bench since you last saw the guitar? Well, I've glued the nut back on, put the strings on, tuned it to pitch, stretched the strings in. I've set the intonation on the saddles, on the bridge. I've set the action at the 12th fret, 1.75mm on the bass, 1.5mm on the treble side. I've set the relief in the neck at 0.25mm under the 7th fret, which is my standard. So here, feeler gauge, and you can just hear the feeler gauge scratching the bottom of a not straight edge. 0.25mm there, so there's one thing left to do. I'm going to check, I've just set the, I'm going to check the action again at the 12th fret, so let's get the tools out of the way that we don't need. Just going to check the action again to see if I'm where I want to be. I'm a little bit low because I've altered the truss rod, so we are going to, but don't listen to this faff about don't do this with the strings on. Just alter the bridge if it needs altering, so that's the tailpiece. Going to bring the action up just a little, and again on the treble side, measure again. Still a little bit low on the bass side. And measure, 1.75mm on that side. Still a bit low on the treble side. 1.75. Still a little bit low on the treble. Another quarter turn should do it. 1.5 on the treble side, 1.75 on the bass side. Happy with that. One more thing to do is to cut the nut slots. And what we're looking for is to get an action above the first fret, whereas it's low but not buzzing. Now these gaps are far too high. So as a guide, I like to be about 0.2 millimeters on the treble side and about 0.3 millimeters on the bass side. That's the gap between the top of the fret and the bottom of the string. So we're going to check the bass side, see where we are. Far too high. And on the treble side, still go with the 0.3. Way too high. So we are going to recut the nut slots. I'm going to be using my Costco nut slot files. And I need to pull out a set for a 1046 set. So we're looking 10, 13, 17, 36, 26, 36, 46. So I've not had them out for a while, so we're going to have a look here. We don't have a 26, we do have a 24. So let's look 16 for a 17, 13 and a 10. That's the treble side. We've got a 46, a 36 and a 28 for a 26. So they are the ones we're going to use. So let's have a look, see where we are. 10, 13, 16, that's with a 10, 13, 17. 28 for a 26, a 36 and a 46. So, Costco nut slot files, great piece of kit. I bought a set, I bought the 11 set. I think they cost something like 125, 130 pounds. These are really sharp, they're fantastic, and they cut a perfect U shape or a semicircular shape. So what we're going to do is, we're going to be looking at 0.3mm gap here, about a 0.2 gap there. So we're going to gradient down ever so slightly on the way down. So first we measure, we always measure more than once to see where we are. We know everything is set how we want it on the guitar. We've got the radius set on the bridge, we've got the correct height set at the 12th fret, we've got the correct amount of relief in the neck. So the last thing we always do, the last thing we ever do on a setup is cut the nut slots. So we measure again. We see that we have lots of a gap, quite a big gap there. So we're going to pull the string out, we're going to take the file and we're going to slightly angle it back toward the machine head. And nice even strokes. And don't go gung-ho, take your time, because if you cut the slots too deep, you'll be replacing the nut. We could do with the tuner in to check where we are, and the tune in and we'll know if we've made a cut. We're still very high there. We need a cloth white file. Keep cutting and checking. We know we've cut because we went out of tune, we went flat. Keep going. And the reason we need to get low, and that's what we're looking for, that buzz there. Just buzzing. So that one's perfect. The reason we do that is when we bar an F sharp or a G, we're not going sharp. If we have the strings too far away from the frets, when we press down, we're bringing all the notes sharper than they need to be. So that's the first one done. I was going to say first string, it's not the first string, it's actually the 6th string, because it goes in reverse, doesn't it? So we're going to move on to the next string. Blah, 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 blah. I think you're getting the idea of how it works. I've somehow managed to lose that file. I bet it's gone down the gap. No problem, we'll get that back in a bit. So I'm going to move on to the next one, the 0.36. Or the 0.036, which is this one. I'm going to carry on, do it all off camera. bear with me a second, I'm going to check again, 0.3, I want to go a little bit lower, so quick measure, okay, I know more or less where I need to go. Same again, clean file, don't go mental, angle it slightly back toward the machine heads. Cut and check. Just got to stop by a string there. Not quite there yet, so a little bit more. But just buzzing. Could go a little bit more, but I'm quite happy with that. That's fine. So that's it. I'm going to do the next 4 off camera. You know how it works now. I'm going to be grading slowly down to 0.2 millimeters at this side. So what we do here, for instance, we've got 0.3, just under 0.3. We're going to now move to the next feeler gauge, which will be 0.25, and we'll make this one 0.25, this one a little bit under. I'm going to make this 0.2 and that one a little bit over. So we're going to get a nice gradient down. So I'm going to take the next one with 0.25, check the 4th string. That one's already where it needs to be. So all I'm going to do is I'm just going to flake that open, just widen it a little bit. We're not going to go any deeper. But you know how it works now, so I'm going to crack on, get this done off camera. Once it's done, we're going to move the camera and we're going to finalise this video. And here we are, fret friends, we are all done, and what a stunning guitar this is. Epiphone Les Paul Standard. Just a really, really great guitar. Super weight to it, super colour. It is, that's got to be a maple cap on there, because I can see the stripes under the lacquer on there. It's just a beautiful, beautiful guitar. It came in wanting 2 frets replacing. Not only have I replaced the 2 frets, I have levelled and polished all of the other frets. A job in itself, just for fret level and setup, would normally cost you £115. I've not charged that for the whole job. I've replaced frets 12 and 13. I've matched them to the correct width, which is just inside of the binding. So I've had to precision cut and file these 2 frets. We've ended up levelling the lot, recrowning the lot, polishing the lot. Just a fantastic, fantastic guitar. It's had the full setup. I've just finished recutting the nut. The pickup heights have been checked. The pots have been checked. Every nut, bolt, screw, whatever has been checked and tightened where needed. And it is now just a stunning guitar. Also, giving it a good clean has made it really, really pop. I just want to give you a close up of the frets. There they are. They are shiny and superb. But that is it, this one is finished. So we're going to move on to the next project, but before I do, I need to remind you of my website. So the best place to check me out is facebook.com/ng17. That is facebook.com/NGONESEVEN. You can also have a quick look at fretfriend.co.uk. But that is it for this project. We're going to move on to the next one. So as always, until the next project, God bless you, be good to each other, and I will see you in the next one.